the 20th anniversary of Light on the Hills Incorporation. We were here before. Larry and I were married in '89, but we were officially incorporated May 21st, 1991. So we thought we'd have our 20th anniversary. And it's very exciting to have so many people that we care for in the same room. So, and of course, always, it's challenging to do work at Light on the Hill, and the weather helps bring that point home. It rained like this the morning of our wedding, and I was coming out from Ithaca with my dress in the back, crying, because we didn't have any building here. We had tents out there. But it stopped just before the ceremony, and then it started again just after the reception. So we were lucky. The reason for this gathering, it looks like we've got quite a few cars coming in right now. Okay. The reason for this gathering is to say thank you to all of you who have been such a support to Light on the Hill over the years, and we couldn't have done it without you. Your support happened in many, many ways. And so this is our thank you to you for that.
Share now some memories of Light on the Hill, past, present, and future. We'll start in the past because it's behind us, and of course, it sets up the Kiwanis. If you've looked at the brochure, you know a little bit about the history of this land and how it came to be. We moved out here. I moved out here to the house where we lived in 1985. That fall, the property next door, 70 acres, became available. A couple from New Jersey wanted to move back to the city, and we purchased that property as well. And the next spring, the cottage area, most of you know where the cottages are, went up for sale for non-payment of back taxes at an auction on Elmira, the county seat. And we went there and did some bidding and had some different experiences. Some we know about. And finally, we got the land, put the three pieces together, and it became the contiguous properties that Light on the Hill is now. And Alice and I, we met at Ithaca College. Most of you probably know that she was my professor for a short time during my last final semester. No, we didn't really date or anything. I didn't affect my grade. Our relationship up to that point.
That was 82, it was 85 before we got together.
It was I had tried to take some classes with Alice my entire career at Ithaca College, and was only able to sign up for the last semester I had. The classes were so popular. It was women and religion, and 19 young ladies and myself. I learned a lot, academically as well as experientially. They actually didn't know quite what to make of me in the beginning, but then I was adopted as kind of a mascot. It went okay from there on. And the rest is history. We got married in 1989, I believe.
After the last son graduated from college, then we got married. This one right here. Yes, so also on the brochure, he invited me out just after he bought the land. And I came out here and I just fell in love with the land and felt it was my land. I was to live here. And then I was wondering why he was my land. But it became pretty clear after a while. So, and in some ways it seems like a long time ago, and in some ways it seems very quick.
Ever good?
Yeah. Yeah. So, the past unfolded because Larry and I sit in meditation every morning, and we just try to follow the guidance of what to do when. And it really has served us in building step by step by step. And you can see in the brochure what the different steps were in place. So that's one piece, and another piece is that the work is very gratifying because we see people come here and we see how they change for the better. And that really is wonderful to see, that transformation that happens for people. So that's our main focus for being here, main focus in the past, present, and future.
It's a place where people do their own work. As you all know, you don't have the work here done for you, as might happen in some other places. We know that everybody, each one of you who comes here to seek in one way or another, really is called upon to roll up your sleeves and dig in and go to work. And it truly is gratifying to see it happen, see you all making the efforts and seeing us, for sure, all growing together.
So that's the past.
The past.
And the present is right this moment. Being here with all of you. And then all the people who couldn't come, but feel an interconnection with Light on the Hill. And some people have pictures of the property in their workplace or at home. Some people, when in their meditation, come back in their minds to Light on the Hill as a source of where they felt centered and holy. And so that gratifies us. And so all of those people, and some of our community has passed on, and all of those who have passed on are here, I'm sure, in spirit.
And as you know, these times we're living through are becoming, in some ways, more and more challenging. And it seems as if we're all more and more called upon to not rely on the things in the outer world around us, but really to dig deep and find that center within ourselves, kind of like that rock, that place of stability and strength from which we actually live out our lives rather than taking cues, as we might have when we were younger, both in age and in soul age, in earlier times. And that's also what Light on the Hill at the present is doing. That's how it acts. Even though things are revolving and shifting and transforming right before our eyes often in the outer world, in the world we work and play in day to day, Light on the Hill is actually here. It has a mission. It's rooted in the energies of the people who come here, who have been here, who will come here in the future. And it serves as a fulcrum, a point from which people can stabilize themselves in times of challenge or crisis, or even just during their everyday lives, moment to moment. And then, after that restabilization, hopefully, perhaps, make higher and better decisions and choices in their lives and help others to do that too in their lives. It definitely has a ripple effect. We've seen it innumerable times. The efforts that one person makes just has an untold ripple effect throughout the world at large. And that's one of the reasons we started this place, one of the reasons we're here, and it's a big reason why we or others are going to be here into the future days. Which brings us to the future. Reflections on
You probably haven't heard so many words out of my There's a lot inside. There's a lot going on. So we spent a lot of time thinking about what is the future of Light on the Hill. It's an important question to ask. And how do we continue from here? And future is often hard to predict. You know, we started handwriting newsletters to people and then graduated to labels, and now it's email. I mean, who would have guessed that email and all of these technologies would take on so quickly? So those kinds of things, we don't know what the future is. And one thing that Light on the Hill will have to do is to adapt, but at the same time, to keep its essence. And what is its essence? And we spoke with, well, I saw Garrison Institute. We went there for a retreat with Dr. Shanti recently. And this was a Franciscan monastery. And you'd walk around, you'd see the stone crosses on top of the building, and then you'd see these grottos where Mary or a statue would be, and there was no statue there. And then you go inside, and there's this big statue of Buddha. You know? And I thought, well, they're keeping the essence. The essence is for people to come on retreat, to connect with themselves, to be in silence, and that. And even though the outer changes, the statues, the symbols, the dogma changes, the inner essence is still there. And that's what we hope for Light on the Hill, that the essence will remain, but it will change and grow as different people come in to direct the place and to guide the place. So, but we sat down when we went to Assisi in March with Atummo Kane, and many of you have been on his retreats. He's come here a few times. He's a great spiritual teacher. And he talked about the DNA of Light on the Hill. And that the DNA keeps replicating itself if that becomes strong enough. So these were the things that he had to say about Light on the Hill. He said here there is a purity in the sense of a naturalness that's here. There's no pretense. There's open space for each person to do the work and to be themselves. And he, by the way, has been to many, many different retreat centers and worked with many boards and everything else. And So he has a sense of what each place is like. So this is how he felt Light on the Hill was. He said there's a clarity here, an intention and in the energy that he feels that is here. He said it's unsullied. He said mature people, so mature, not necessarily age mature people are coming here. He sees a caring and supportive community here at Light on the Hill. And he feels there's a harmony in the leaders. There's no unresolved conflict. And he's gone to places where you can feel that kind of infighting with different groups. And so he feels that that's important, and I think that's important to continue. There's a great deal of difference if the leadership is in conflict of some sort. And then he talked about the board and the future of the board and who's to come onto the board. He's seen places where they get people who are highly qualified, accountants or whatever, on the board, but have not had the experience of what the retreat center or program is like. I forget which one he said, but one of the kind of famous ones. And so that it's important for the board members to have had experiences here and to had some kind of training, maybe here of some sort, whether retreats or hidden treasure or whatever. And that way, keep the essence going so the board knows what the essence is. So then we have our ideas for the team. At least what we started with. Okay. One is to serve as a light for others, to be a kind of lamp to show the path for others. 2, beauty is an important part of Light on the Hill because we believe that beauty opens the heart. So people come here and go, and already they feel more relaxed. Feel that life is struggle enough without having to struggle when you come here. This is an interesting idea, that the property and the buildings be well maintained. When things start to fall down and fall apart, then people don't feel supported in their work. If everything is maintained and looks well, then people come and feel supported. So that's an important element for the future, the essence of Light on the Hill. That it's a place of quiet so that one can really go inside and see what is hidden within, which is really the true guiding light. Prayer, Hazrat and Icon, open our hearts that we may hear thy voice, which constantly comes from within. Disclose to us thy divine light, which is hidden in our souls, that we may know and understand life better. So that's part of the idea. Let this place be a place of refuge and a place of transformation. Many people come in crisis who need to make a decision or just want to grow more. And we hope that that will continue in the future. Carl Jung says that whatever piece of unconscious material we take and work through brings light to humanity. And this is a place that has already happened and hopefully in the future, where people are able to look within, discover those pieces, maybe some of them that are not too pleasant, work them through so that we can all grow as a result of that. So that's part of what we hope will continue, the essence that we hope will continue in the future. You want to talk about the projects or anything else you want to say about the future?
I'd just like to say about the future, you know, Alice and I, we've been here for a while. We plan to be here for a while longer, but really, there will come a time when things will shift and Light on the Hill will go on. And it was like starting Light on the Hill We had no guarantees when we started that anyone would find their way here at all, ever. But we went ahead because that's what the guidance was. And it feels very strongly that Light on the Hill will continue on, and for quite some time. It's impossible for anyone really to predict how, when, why, who, but we believe it will go on. And it's very strongly, it feels like there's a thread of stability and strength that's been laid down, woven into the fabric of this land, and almost cannot help but continue into the future days. And again, you might know that there were, in the Middle Ages, when things became a little challenging in the world, at that point the monasteries served as a pinpoint of light in the world that was constant, that people could use as a reference point to kind of reorient themselves in their lives. And it seems more and more that places like Light on the Hill is serving that function and will continue, perhaps even more strongly, to serve that function. And by no means am I implying it's the only way to fly that mission. There are many people, many institutions, many places flying that same mission in many different ways, because you know how many different people there are in the world. And
also how distracting the world is.
Yeah. So no one has any guarantees, but we believe very strongly that Light on the Hill will continue for quite some time, and we're grateful, we're thankful for all of you being a part of it and helping it in your own way to continue onwards and upwards.
So we're going to talk about immediate projects in the future. Now we're going to get very practical.
We have been, there has been a new idea guest meeting among ourselves and the board. Well, our next project that we would like to see happen at Light on the Hill is a small chapel or sanctuary where people who are on the land or who just want to stop by and feel a calling to spend a few minutes alone with God or Spirit, or however they might think of a higher counterpart in life, where they can commune with that presence. And what we envisioned at the moment is just a little bit on the other side of the large labyrinth in front of this building, a small stone building where maybe half a dozen people could sit in reflection, in meditation, in communing with divine presence, their higher selves, however they might want to think of a contact point with the divine. A silent place, a sacred place. It wouldn't be used for anything else but people seeking in that way to, in silence, hook up with the divine, with the divinity within, or however they might think of the infinite spirit, the great spirit.
And we have some drawings. Mike Ward here and I got together, and I like doing a lot of design, and so does he. We work well together, doing Pathlight Cottage. So there's some drawings out there for this, and we hope to, fundraise and get the money for it to become a reality. So that's the next kind of big projects, along with a few gazebos like that.
Gazebos, green unicorns. For those even on the vision quest. But a few of those would be nice here and there, where people can sit and reflect by a stream or on a hillside. Maybe eventually some solitary huts dotting the hills here and there, where people could do deep, serious retreat work, inner work, for several days or perhaps a week or 10 days at a time. We more or less feel that Light on the Hill is, in terms of larger projects such as this building, has reached where it needs to be. And nothing really grand on the boards for the visible future as far as we can tell.
So that is Light on the Hill, past, present, future. And we're going to have a song now, You Lift Me Up. And this song is our thank you to you, because you have lifted us up. You have lifted Light on the Hill up through your loving support through your financial help, through your physical effort in building things that are here. And there was one other. Just by your attendance at workshops and programs that we have. If you hadn't come to these things, the whole thing would be, fall to the wayside. So really, we have to thank you very, very much for helping us to get this thing going and allowing it to grow by all you've done in so many ways. I mean, the artwork, the music, the helping out with the whole group of us stained all of these, the trim, the wood trim. So many ways, so many people helped us. So this is our thank you to you. The whole event is our thank you to you, but particularly this song that Sean Fox did.
But when you come walk the stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Bruce Tubbs was supposed to be here, but I don't see him. He was the contractor for this building, and he's coming up all the time to help us with maintenance and that. We're always on the phone with Bruce, and he comes, you know, when it's late and everything else, because he really believes in this place, and he gets things working again. So we really appreciate his effort.
I still remember the time when we had a preliminary drawing of this building, and we were searching for someone to do it, and it was hard. No one wanted to take on, especially the challenge of putting up the teepee in this room. And Bruce Tubbs was downtown in Manhattan building the post office down there. And I remember grabbing the plans on the off chance that this guy might be interested in doing this project. I went down there. They let me into the back where he was. And I remember unrolling the plans, telling him our targeted costs for putting up the building. And I still can see the look in his eyes as he looked at it. Kind of a amused expression. Happily, he didn't try to discourage it. He actually just tried to help us find ways of finding a way to do things. And of course, it didn't come in under cost, but we did get it built. And we're grateful to him and his family who helped us much as well. And, blessings to him in spirit. He's with us as well, I'm sure.
And a lot of you helped financially, some with large donations, and that we very much appreciate as well. Some want to remain anonymous, so we won't have those people stand up.
No, we do appreciate all your efforts. And one other recollection I would share was when we were doing the fundraising, we had the plans all set, the builder, we didn't have any money. And we were waiting for a signing to move ahead with this building. And the phone rang, and I think it was Wells Fargo Bank, with JP Morgan Bank from New York City. I said, no, we're not interested in the solicitation. Started to hang up the phone. It was his voice I could barely hear as the receiver got near being hung up. But no, wait, someone wants to give you some money. It's sizable. Very generous donation, and that got us rolling. So it was a close one.
And we're thinking too of Light on the Hill of the weather challenges that we've had here. And I remember long before we had a plow and that, Larry was out on his little mower in the elements, not enclosed, a snow blower type thing. And sometimes we needed to call someone to get the roads back, but I remember somebody was on retreat and I had to meet with them. So I got on my skis and with my poles, all the trees were heavy, laden with snow. And you couldn't get through the road even, so I'm whacking to get back to this retreat. And it's still a very vivid memory, that snow and the gorgeousness of it, and then falling away, and then suddenly there was a Boots Cottage.
We were wild and younger. I scared Alice more than once coming back from snow blowing the road down to the cottages on a cold day with my face all covered with ice. Times, and we used to hand deliver dinners. We didn't have a plow. We would start out from here, cook the meals, and carry them once or twice in a snowstorm down to the people in the cottages. So we're having that experience makes one quite grateful for the improvements that we've seen here. We're thankful for the increasing comfort level we're able to enjoy.
That's right, and thanks to many of you, we now have this beautiful yellow truck with a plow on it.
Yellow truck, you know how beautiful it is.
What was it called? What was the title? Screaming Yellow. So anyway, we wanted to have anybody who feels like giving a memory or anything that or reflection about Light on the Hill that they want to say. We have a microphone. I'm not sure how it works. Okay, so anybody would like to share anything? Over here.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Dolch, and first of all, I would just like to thank you for what you've been in my life in the past, I guess, maybe 14 years. I've been in St. Alice, but I think the really remarkable thing is what the Hidden Treasure Program and Light on the Hill has meant to a whole community of St. Paul's United Methodist Church, where I was the pastor for 16 years. And I think, how many people, maybe 25, at least 10% of the active congregation has gone through the Hidden Treasure Program. That's a tithe. And I guess just seeing firsthand what you're talking about, coming alive in a group consciousness, in a community consciousness, and the effect that it's had not only on the individuals, but all the people in that orbit and the people who are in their orbit is absolutely remarkable. And so thank you for the really huge impact.
Hi, my name is Amina Kostu, and I'd like to share a story that exemplifies to me how spirit-directed and spirit-filled this place, known as Light on the Hill, is. I had done retreat work for many years at a monastery in Pine City, a Mount Savior Monastery. And because I had been there so many times, I just sort of felt if I called up, they would have space for me. And I knew there was going to be some time that I had available and it was time to do a retreat. So I called up. And they didn't have space. And I thought, well, that's very strange. But I went to bed, and then I had a recollection during the night. I had bought some pottery from a favorite potter of mine here in Ithaca. Some of you may know Jan Brown. I bought several pieces, and I carefully wrapped them in newspaper. And I brought them home and unwrapped them, and is my habit, instead of crumpling paper all up, I spread it out and fold it because it doesn't seem to take up so much room. And I was spreading it out, and there was an article in one of the pieces of paper about this new retreat center called Light on the Hill in Van Etten, New York. And I took time to read it, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a nice place. But I quickly folded it up and stuck it in a drawer. And then when I couldn't get my place at Mount Savior, I remembered that article that was in the drawer. And in the middle of the night, I got up. I went right to it. It had a phone number, and the very next morning, I called here. Larry answered the phone, and I told him I was looking for a place, and he said, well, I think we have room, but you'll have to talk to Alice. She'll call you back. So Alice called and said, yes, you're welcome here. And then she started to ask a few questions. Well, do you want a silent retreat? Do you want a directed retreat? Do you want a semi-directed retreat? And I remember thinking, I don't even know you. How do I know the answer to these questions? So I said, I think I'd just like to come up So they welcomed me, and that was 16 years ago. And Light on the Hill has been such an incredible part of my life. So thank you both. And thank you to all of you who have supported this incredible place so that people like me could grow and flourish and spread the love, I'm hoping. Thank you.
Mina was in our trailer for a year, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, that was,
Oh, yeah.
that was another experience. But I did enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Mary Gilliland, and I just wanted to say a little bit more about the visioning group that's mentioned in the brochure, and that was where I met Amina. It brought together a number of people who knew Alice and Larry or had a connection with Light on the Hill, but didn't really know each other. But this was a time when groups had been renting the cottages, and there was more and more demand for a real retreat facility. And it was, that request that came over and over again was what motivated us to start looking into the possibility of doing a big building. And if I think back to it, it was like we started in the winter time, and it was 15 or 20 people, and we would just periodically come together over and over again and split into these, little discussions and conversations, and it was like an example of we had no idea what we were doing or what this could be, but because of all these little people beginning to move as one amoeba, we were able to, reach even a metaphoric dimension of what we wanted, to have a structure that represented the area, that carried on spiritual traditions of the area, so that we had something that brought in the Iroquois people who originally lived here. And it was just a marvelous process. And then we had to learn how to ask people for money. And, I'm an example. I come from a family with no extra money. I mean, you don't want to talk about money. You don't, But this is such a huge project. And luckily, we have this woman who's sitting next to me who is also on the board. Paula Peter knew that's her work, is learning how to ask people for money. And so she trained us and she educated us. And it was so difficult that the first person that I asked was my mother. I didn't know this is supposed to be the hardest, but and my mother shocked me with the amount of money that she just instantly said she would give to Light on the Hill, And it was little by little, like things got rolling that way.
Yeah, this is right. I'm Katie Pierce. I'm on the board, and I have benefited in amazing ways from this wonderful place, and I'm very grateful to Alice and Larry. I was part of this envisioning group, and I've just sort of been hanging out through the whole walk, and I've really enjoyed it and benefited from it. The most recent experience that I had, actually, I met with Alice last week, and that was wonderful, but before that, when I heard about the sacred space out by the labyrinth, I wanted to check it out. I didn't want to just let it happen without me checking it out, I guess. That's my trust issues, here we go. So I came out, and Larry and I walked out to the spot, and Larry and I are both kind of quiet, and we just walked out there. And we just stood there for just a few minutes. It wasn't long. And I could really feel something special. And we just looked at each other and turned around and left. And to me, that was the blessing of the next step. So I just wanted to share that. It was just very obvious that that was the right next step. And that's kind of what this whole path has been like. And it's been wonderful to witness. And I thank you.
Hi, I'm Paige Morgan. I just want to say quickly to thank Alice and Larry. It's an amazing place, because if it weren't for each other's and my friends in that group and everything I've done, I'd still be numbing myself with alcohol every single night. I'd still hate my job, which I don't really like, and I'm quite sure I'd be divorced, and I'm cool with that.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm Susie Chadwick, and I don't know how I can quite put my mind around what I want to say, but it's the fingers of events that brought me to this place, and it started with Amina, who spoke, and she invited me in 1997 to come to an open house in the fall, and I was really taken by the land. And then the next spring, when I was really at a very, very low point in my life, and I knew I needed to do something like go on a retreat. It was such a foreign idea to me. It was terrifying to do it, but I was more terrified not to do it. So I came and spent 3 wonderful healing days with Alice. And then there's just all these other fingers that, doing dream workshop with Alia and Amina again, and Diane, and then meeting Diane at another summer camp, and then joining the Hidden Treasure program. It's just how the universe has worked in my life to bring me to this place, this amazing community of people, and to the work that I'm doing and the work that I will continue to do. So thank you so much, everyone, for supporting me and my journey and all that. So thank you.
I thought I'd squeeze one last one in. So I guess you could call me probably the original member of the Hidden Treasure Group. It's been a 40-year journey. I get counseling all the time. Most of it's solid advice. But I really appreciate, it's really amazing to see everyone come in here today, many of whom I've seen and known over the years, but very grateful that everyone could be here. I would say, I could probably talk for the next 20 minutes over the last 20 plus years that I've been coming out, probably since 86 or so. I think, maybe correct me if I'm wrong there, but you and I might be the only two who covered every square inch of the land. In '89, I came out and mapped the entire property. I just did a walk back, up about 10 feet, and then back and up about 10 feet and back. Mapped everything out. I've done a lot of the drawings that you've seen here, both the maps as well as some of the renderings for the original building here. Probably one of my most special memories was the boys' camp that we did. So Larry, Peter Fortunato, I think I saw Phil earlier.
Phil isn't here.
Oh, he can't be here?
Yeah.
Okay. We took a group of, I would say, 8 boys who were sort of special needs kids who had been through difficult times. A lot of them did not have male role models. And a group of us were able to take these boys in, maybe under our wing, and go out to where there's a sweat lodge now, and just sort of camp for a night, and talk to them about what it means to be a guy and, grow up. And they were, 12 to 13 years old, so they're just going through this time of metamorphosis and transformation. And it was very touching for me. The second night, we were all sort of supposed to be in the same location, and they said, I had told a story about going on retreat here and doing my own vision quest, building a lean-to and staying out at this very special location for me. And they were like, well, let's do it. Let's do that exact same thing. So we got a couple of axes and chopped down a couple, got some dry wood and built a very large lean-to, enough for the boys and me to stay in. We built a fire. And just sort of huddled and camped out and told stories. And so for me, that was one of the most touching moments, to be able to influence some of these kids' lives and to put them in maybe a better spot than they were previously. And at least to have a vision of what guys can be like and that they're not all bad. And even the role models that they've had, maybe not, you know, the perfect role models in the world, but there are good folks out there in the world.
And
So,
you learned to do without TV for a couple of days.
no TV, no video games. Right, and you can survive. It's okay. So for me, that was one of the most touching memories. But I want to thank my mom, for doing such a great job raising me, I think. But also for having a vision with Larry to start this place and to really be able to impact so many people's lives. You guys have done a fabulous, fabulous job. So thank you much.
So we had to end this ceremony rocking, okay? And we have Elisa Sasosi and the Solstice Band to come and play for us.
While the band is setting up, I wanted to share just a little bit about how this group even came to be and the songs that you're about to hear, how they came to be. I came out here to Lay on the Hill about 8.5 years ago as a somewhat lost 22-year-old woman who I was studying music at Ithaca College, and it was clear that the type of music I was studying wasn't really in alignment with who I was. And I thought maybe I would just give up singing. Maybe I was also interested in counseling and healing work. And so I came to Alice to find out what was next, and I did the Hidden Treasure program. And it helped me really, I think, come into myself, but also a couple years after I graduated from the program, I started writing songs, and the lyrics were influenced by Alice's teachings.
I'm so glad Solstice could come and celebrate with us. And we have a lot of hidden treasure people in this band, so it feels like my band. Right. I'm a proud mama. So thank you all for coming. We have a wonderful meal that the cooks have been preparing for days. So please enjoy yourself. Thank you.